Today, in the Better Terra kitchen, I'm going to show you how to ferment eggs. I know what the first question you're going to ask is, why would you ferment an egg? Well, for one thing, they're delicious. If you've ever had a pickled egg, it's much the same process, but we're using the fermentation process instead of vinegar and salt. We're using a salt brine and then a fermentation period that really pulls in the flavors to the egg. So let's talk here about what I'm holding. So in here is 6 eggs and a bunch of aromatics and other kinds of spices. This has only been going for 3 days, so it's not a long fermentation period where you're going to get a stinky, smelly egg. 3 days. 2.5 days is actually, I think, the sweet spot where the flavor is mild and not overpowering. The flavor really comes from what you're adding to the brine. So this started out clear, and as we go through the process, you'll see. Started out clear, now it's very cloudy. Inside I have dill, peppercorns, garlic, some coriander, and a couple of dried hot peppers, and maybe a few bay leaves. And during the fermentation process, the egg infuses with the flavors from all of those herbs that you have in there. And it's a great egg to use to make egg salad, deviled eggs, sliced up eggs on a salad, anything where you're looking for a flavorful egg. So made these 3 days ago to share with you what they look like when they're finished, and these are actually going to be our dinner tonight, and we'll finish up with showing you how we're going to eat them this evening. So without further ado, let's get into the process of starting the fermentation. The beginning is something to ferment in. This is just a quart jar. Anything that your egg will go inside is big enough. To the jar, we're going to start by adding our eggs. Just let them slide down the side. Now, one of the eggs during the peeling process decided not to peel very well, so it's going to get sacrificed to the before dinner gods here in a little while. But so there's the eggs in the fermentation vessel. We'll set that aside. Our brine solution. We're going to do a 3% brine. We have 3 cups of water. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of salt. Any non-iodized salt is fine here. This is regular kosher salt. And about a ½ teaspoon of sugar, just to kind of balance everything out. And then right here to get things going. So this is a starter culture. Whenever you're fermenting vegetables, it already has some of these cultures naturally on them, but eggs don't have that culture. They were inside of a shell, they were hard-boiled, everything is pretty cleansed, and we're not putting in enough vegetables to really get started. So you get these packets, get them on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. This just gets everything going really nicely. And we're going to add this right to our eggs, right on top. You would think that I would add it here to my brine solution, but not all this solution is going to go in there. Usually doesn't all go in there. So we'll give that a nice stir till it's all dissolved. We'll let that set and finish dissolving, and we'll come back. Let's add some of our aromatics and herbs to the vessel here. So with garlic, we'll start by smashing our garlic a little bit. If you're not smashing your garlic, what are you doing with your life? So this is 5 small cloves of garlic. Might be a lot, might be a little. There's no such thing as too much garlic, in my opinion. So in goes our garlic. I've got 3 really dry bay leaves, so we'll just kind of crack those a little bit. Fresh bay leaves are better, but use what you got. I have a dried cayenne here, just gonna kind of break that up, drop it in. A couple sprigs of dill. Don't want to go too strong with the dill, too much dill, because it'll kind of take over. I'm going to bring out my mortar and pestle here, and here I've got about a teaspoon of peppercorns and a teaspoon of coriander, and I'm just going to crack these a little bit just to open them up. If you wanted to roast these a little bit in a pan, that would maybe be nice. It always smells lovely. So we'll get those in there. I can already smell the coriander, even over the black pepper. It's great. Whatever flavors you like, whatever you want to experiment with in your brine, go for it. You can't really mess this up unless you overpower with with some of your ingredients. Just experiment. Let's finish dissolving. Take a look, make sure we got everything in. This is just lukewarm water, so it dissolves at its own pace. There we go. So, to our fermentation vessel, we're going to bring the water level all the way up to the shoulder of the jar. Right about there. We're going to add just a regular canning flat and a ring, but whenever we set this out in our fermentation area, the garage, we'll just make sure it's loose so that any pressures that build are able to push past. But right now I'm going to screw it down tight. I'm going to give it a little back and forth, get everything mingling and happy together. Gets that culture blended in. And there we have it. Don't forget to loosen. Just finger tight there. And there we go. Sit that someplace where it's not hot but not cold. Our garage, even in the summertime, stays relatively comfortable. Everything seems to ferment really well out there. So we set it on a shelf in the garage, and 3 days later, this is what we're gonna have. The fermented egg. When I first tried this, I was skeptical because I thought fermentation, it's going to be sour, briny maybe. I didn't know what to expect. But the first time we tried it, it was amazing, and we've been doing it time and time again. But plan ahead. 3 days before you want to eat them, start your fermentation, and so on the day that you're ready, they're there. These make fantastic deviled eggs. And if you want to have a little fun with it, add some beets or a little sweet beet juice to the fermentation. Then you'll have purple eggs. Add a teaspoon of turmeric, and you'll have a yellowed egg. Might not be the best presentation when you have guests, but the purple eggs are fun. Now let's talk about what we do when it's time to eat our fermented eggs. Well, you open them. It's a great smell. You don't smell egg at all. I smell a little dill, coriander, and garlic for sure. So we're gonna run this through a colander and just get off the liquid. Now, what I could have done, sorry for the noise. What I could have done is used a little of this liquid as a starter for this batch. Just a couple of tablespoons, maybe a quarter of a cup in there, and then fill the rest with the brine. Then you'd have an already active starter if you didn't have a starter culture. So we're going to dump these into our colander. Give them a little rinse. And let's move them to a bowl. Trying to leave behind my spices and whatnot. What I'm not going to leave behind is the garlic. And I'll show you why. This garlic is fantastic. We'll put this here on the cutting board. There's our eggs. They're just slightly a tan color. They've just colored up a little bit. Beautiful, they're nice and firm. Nothing smells off. Now let's move on to getting these ready for dinner. We're gonna make a quick egg salad. Here's the garlic from the fermentation. I'm gonna mince this. You make your egg salad however you want to make your egg salad, but I think egg salad deserves garlic. Okay. Right in with the eggs. Okay. In with our eggs, we're going to add some dill relish. This is from last year's, about that much. Again, make it however you want to make it. This is how we make ours. Some green onion, including the whites. Some yellow mustard. We use Coleman's mustard. If you don't know about Coleman's mustard, you're missing out. Coleman's mustard is an English mustard. It's got a little of a bite to it, a nice honey taste. It's really fantastic. It's easy to use too much of it because it does have a nice bite. There's some more. Okay, what else we got? We're gonna add, no. Next, we're just with a fork. We're gonna go in and just kind of start rough chopping our eggs. Getting everything mixed. There's tools for this. Chopping in a bowl stuff, I don't have them. Just chopping and mixing. As soon as you start chopping and opening up those eggs, you're going to know right away that you've got something special. Something that you haven't ever experienced before if you've never had a fermented egg. It's much different than a pickled egg. Okay, now we're at this part. Our eggs are chopped up. We're going to add a couple measures of mayonnaise. Mayo, mayonnaise, none of that Miracle Whip, no. Regular mayonnaise. Wonderful. Perfect consistency. Everything's holding together. It's not too sloppy. Gonna go for a taste. Great. No salt needed with the fermented egg. It pulls in a lot of that salt brine. We're gonna put in a couple of cranks of black pepper and a little bit of paprika. That's how we make egg salad. Okay, so let's get this on some toast. Here I've got some nice store-bought sourdough because during COVID we were living our life and making YouTube videos. So this is lightly buttered and toasted with a little everything bagel seasoning. That stuff's pretty wonderful. We're gonna start with a nice couple of slices of garden fresh tomato. These are Kellogg tomatoes. These are our new favorite. First time we grew them in this garden. Nice thin slices, but you can look. They're mostly all meat. Very good. Consistency is fantastic. So we'll layer those on our toast. Move this out of the way. Get our egg salad. Try to make a mess. If I haven't made the mess by the end of cooking something, it's probably, I need a spoon. It's probably not going to be any good. I had a spoon ready to go. It's in the mayonnaise. Here we go. Let's get a spoon. How much easier that is. Nice big dollops of egg salad. Beautiful. What more could you ask for? This one gets a little bit more. Beautiful. I'll be right back. Okay, if I'm going to present this like a cooking show, we might as well do it. Here we go. There we go, a little flourish, a little dill sprig. How nice. Maybe a couple sprinkles of black pepper on the top. Beautiful. Let's add a dill spear. Let's put it over here. And no egg salad is complete without a few Lay's potato chips, because we're fancy. Look at that. This is our dinner for tonight. Fermented egg salad, garden fresh tomatoes, store-bought sourdough, homemade dill spears, and just plain old Lay's potato chips. If you've liked this episode, hit that like button. If you want to see more episodes like this, leave us a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep on working toward a better Terra, one simple meal at a time.